Guys, it's Alisani here. So I can't smile. So today I had gum surgery where they lifted my gums. I don't want to gross you out, but just so you know, I'm still swollen. You can see I can barely smile. So I'm gonna do this video that you're about to see, but please know the reason why my face is doing funny things because I still have some, I think it's called Novocaine in me, and I am in a lot of pain. But what you see right now is the finished look. You see my shadow? I'm really proud of it. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about what it's like to be a flight attendant, how to become a flight attendant, or just how to get into the airline industry in general. You're gonna even get a sample interview question and answer from moi. So, see you in a minute. Hey guys, it's Allison here, and I'm gonna make my face up and put some makeup on as I tell you what it's like to be a flight attendant. So here we go. So first of all, why would you want to be a flight attendant? You know what? I can see that my eyes aren't looking straight at the camera, and I will figure that out for a later video. But for now, I'm just gonna do what I'm doing. So you can bear with me. I'm gonna make my face up, tell you why being a flight attendant may be just one of the best careers you can ever enter into. So when did I become a flight attendant? I became a flight attendant about, hold on, 8.5 years ago. I started out working for a regional airline where, you know, those little small airplanes where they're typically commuter planes. And they take you from small cities to bigger cities, and then back to another small city, back to a bigger city. That's what I started out doing. And how did I come about doing that? Well, I needed a job. And, you know, I was on my job search. This was back in 2013. And I saw an ad, and it was basically like a cattle, you know, like a cattle call where you go down and there's like a mass interview. And so I went, saw the ad, I went, and I went to the mass interview. Let me see, where is my primer? Okay, so I found my primer. Oh, let me first tell you, please forgive me. Today I had some gum surgeries, and so my mouth is still a little bit numb. So if I'm smelling funny, that's the reason why. Okay, so I went down to the Marriott to this mass interview for a regional airline, and in order for me to be qualified, everything had to match up. My passport had to match my license, and meaning names and everything had to match up. So I had just gotten a divorce, and fortunately I kept my name the same. And so my license was the same, because otherwise I would have been instantly disqualified had my license been back to my maiden name. And my passport still my ex-husband's last name. So that was the first step. So if you passed that part, meaning everything matched up, you were invited to the next part, which was like a problem solving section where they gave you basically a test. And you know, they basically, the instructions was to answer as many questions as you could. So I did. I answered as many questions as I could. I didn't finish, but I did answer as many questions as I could. It was like, most of them were like story form. And I passed that part. Going into it, I did not know what was going to happen. I did not go with the expectation that I was going to even get hired. I just went because it was an opportunity that I didn't want to pass up. And once again, I needed some employment. I needed a job. Okay, so after the problem solving part, the people that made it through to the next level, we had to introduce ourselves and tell a story. I believe it was like tell a story of like a customer service incident, and you know what happened, what was like the problem, and then what was the result. And so we did. You know, went up, introduced ourselves, and did that. I did mine, and I made it through to the next level. So, I don't remember what the next level was after that. I just know I made it through. So then after that, we were sent home with the expectation that we were going to get an email, and that email was going to then tell us either give us the thanks but no thanks, or invite us to a face-to-face interview. And I got invited to a face-to-face interview. So I went. I went to my face-to-face interview. On the spot, the person interviewing me, who happened to be a supervisor, gave me an invitation to go to training. Now, with flight attendant, it's a little difficult. It's not difficult. I'm sorry, that's the wrong word. It's a little different from other jobs. So in other words, if you're invited to training, that does not mean that you're automatically hired. You have to actually pass the training in order to be automatically hired. So basically, you're taking the risk, especially if you already have a job that you have to quit. You're taking a risk that you might not actually come out with the job, but it's a risk worth taking. Now, in my case, I didn't have a job, so there was really no risk. So I went. It was 4 weeks training, and I passed it. Now, let me back up a little bit. Before you actually make it to training, you have to get what's called a background check. So it's an FBI check. So they want to make sure you're not a felon, you don't have any DUIs, and this is in a 10-year time frame. That your job history is exactly what you said it was. So they're calling all of your references, all of your previous employers, and they're doing all that. So if you want to be a flight attendant, make sure your record's clean, because otherwise you're not going to get hired. And I believe one of the reasons why, which makes sense to me, is because when you become flight crew, you don't have to go through security every single time. So they want to make sure you're on the up and up, and you're not going to be sneaking things into the airport and on a plane that you shouldn't be taken in. So just to have a clean record. At least they go back 10 years. So you're not penalized your whole life. So that's good news for those of you who have turned your life around. Okay, so now let me find this. Okay, what is training like? I'm not gonna lie, training is intense. It is pretty intense, and one of the reasons why is because you're training not to do the job that you typically do, which is serve food and beverages. Your training is for in the event of an emergency. So this emergency could be a medical emergency. It could be an emergency of, like for instance, of some type of violence. It can be something's going on with the airplane, so you got to evacuate the plane in 90 seconds or less. This is your real job as a flight attendant. Your real job is not just slinging peanuts and serving drinks. So that's why the training is so intense. And you do have to do it, get recertified every single year in what's called recurrent training. Now, the recurrent training isn't really all that hard because it's basically just going over stuff that you already know. But the initial training is very challenging, and it's very, you know, it can be anxiety inducing. I'm just telling you the real. I'm not gonna lie to you. But once you get in, you're pretty much set for life. Now, why would this be a career that you actually want to get in to? Well, the biggest reason is the benefits that we have. So our benefits, sorry about that. There was some noise. That was me getting this out of plastic. Okay, so the biggest reason are the benefits. When you become not just flight crew, but any job in the airline industry, when you're working for a carrier or a company, an airline, you have flight benefits where you can fly with that airline for free. But here's the thing, in the United States, most of the time, no matter what airline you're with, you can fly on another carrier for free too, as long as you're within the United States. Now, if you're traveling out of the country, you can still travel on other airlines, but you have to pay like the taxes. You don't have to pay the full price of the ticket, but you do have to pay the taxes and any other, like for instance, processing fees that might come along with that, but you're still coming out way ahead. Get this, it's not just American carriers. You can fly international carriers as well. So let me give you an example. When my husband and I, we were taking a Mediterranean cruise. We flew into Rome. We were flying in and out of Rome. We flew into Rome on Delta. We flew back to the United States on Alitalia, just paying the fees. That's huge right there. And because we work for the airlines, we get, just on the cruise alone, we get what's called a interline rate. So I can fly on different cruises for a very cheap, very inexpensive interline rate. So an airline employee rate. So I don't know if you've heard of the Canard, but the Canard is a very fancy cruise liner. My husband and I took a 7-day cruise, so 7-night cruise, so 8 days, starting in Rome, ending in Rome. We went to ports like Corsica, France. We went to Florence. We went to Monte Carlo. We went to Barcelona. Don't forget, we started in Rome. We had a balcony room on the Canard. If you're not familiar with how fancy the Canard is, just Google it. It's C-U-N-A-R-D, the Canard. On the Canard, it attracts a more mature crowd, which means that there weren't any kids on our ship. There was one baby. We had live music and ballroom dancing every single night. The food was amazing. And again, did I mention a balcony room and all the places that we went to? Our cost for my husband and I, including taxes and port fees, for the entire cruise, including all the meals, did not include alcohol, but that's okay, was $1,750. Yes, $1,750. That's with our interline rate. I said all this to say, you work for an airline, you become a flight attendant or a pilot or whatever, you know, your aspiration is. There's a lot of benefits that come with it. Not to mention health benefits. I have great health benefits with the company that I'm with, and I have a great 401k. So our 401k is almost 10%. So lots of good reasons to work for an airline. Let's circle back though to the regional. When I worked for the regional, I did have good health insurance, and I had a 401k match. It was 6%, which is excellent. The pay is not great at all. In fact, I was making barely above poverty. However, it was my stepping stone to the company that I'm with now. And I honestly believe that had I not been with my regional airline, I was there for 2 years. Had I not been with my regional airline, I really don't believe I would be with the company that I'm with now. So for those of you that have great aspirations to be a flight attendant or a pilot or any type of airline employee, sometimes getting with a smaller carrier like a regional airline is a good way to get your foot in the door. And so there's that. So now I've been with the company that I've been with now for 6.5 years, and I am so grateful. I'm not leaving. So there you have it. Okay, I'm gonna pause for a second so I can get my next item out. All right, so now what are some things that you can do to, for instance, prepare for the interview? Well, I'll tell you this. Interviewing for an airline, there is a specific way to interview. So most airlines, and for the sake of argument, might as well think all airlines, interview what's called the STAR method. So the STAR method is S stands for situation, T stands for task. So situation and or task, then the action, then the result. Google it, the STAR method. So basically, the company will ask you a question such as, give an example of when you worked with a difficult employee. Okay? So you're going to answer that in the STAR method. So remember, situation or task, action, result. You're going to tell it in story form. So here's a made-up story just to give you an example. So let's say Gilda. That's not a common name, so Gilda, if you're listening, sorry. So let's say Gilda happens to be a difficult employee for you. Maybe she likes to steal your food from the refrigerator. So that's your situation or task, okay? So we're gonna do this in story form. At my old company, I worked with an employee who never brought her own food to work. Typically that wouldn't be a problem because she could just order out or go out to lunch. A lot of people did. However, she used to always go into the refrigerator and take my food. She loved peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and that's what I always used to bring, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. At first, I didn't realize who keeps taking my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I got wind of it by another coworker who said, I think Gilda's taking your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I was like, oh, man, it's Gilda? She's taking my peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Well, I didn't want her to feel bad because I don't want anyone to feel bad, but I bring my own food because I want to save money and I happen to like peanut butter sandwiches. Well, one day I just casually mentioned to Gilda, I said, hey Gilda, I heard you like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And Gilda said, yeah, I do, as a matter of fact. Well, I said to her, Gilda, I bring peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Would you like for me to bring an extra peanut butter and jelly sandwich for you? She said, Oh, oh. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to bring an extra peanut butter and jelly sandwich for me. That's really nice of you. After that, Gilda never took my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. She actually started bringing her own food. So it all worked out. I was able to confront her in a very nice way about the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. She got the point. She stopped taking my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I got to eat my food. She brought her own food, so she got to eat her food, and we all worked happily ever after. The end. That's an example of the STAR method. You gave the situation or task. In this case, it was a situation. You gave the action, you gave the result, which ended up being a positive result. Now, when you're giving a story in the STAR method, you want to keep everything positive. So you don't want to, for instance, shame another person or the person that you're talking about. You don't want to necessarily shame that person or make that person look bad, because when you tell the story, we already know what's going on. And you want to choose a story where there is a positive outcome as a result of something that you did. Another example of a question they might ask you is give an example of working with a difficult customer or client. Let me see. There are some, you know what? Hold on one second. I'm going to come right back with some other questions. Okay, so another example of a question will be, of course, why do you want to work for XYZ company? Why do you want to be a flight attendant? Give an example of going over and beyond for a customer. You know what? Why don't you Google the STAR method, and also it may be called situational interviewing. You Google all that and get some sample questions and practice. And I advise you to practice in front of a mirror where you can see yourself and your expressions. Also practice with a friend so they can critique you. And everything I'm telling you now, you have a lot more knowledge about interviewing for a flight attendant job than most people. So you're already ahead of the game. So, right now you can take what I've just given you and do some of your own research now that you know what these things are called. Situational interviewing, STAR method, storytelling, all of that. Okay. You may be wondering what it's like to be a flight attendant. Well, it's different based on the company that you work for. So if you work for a regional, for instance, which is like what I started out working for, you're going to have a much different experience than if you work for what we call like a main line or legacy carrier. Now, legacy carrier would be like Delta, United, and American. You have other carriers, which are very big companies as well. They're not necessarily considered legacy, but you'll still have great experience. And that would be like Southwest, Alaska, Hawaiian Air, even Spirit would be a nice, a nice company to work for. They might get a bad rap for customer service because, things are nickel and dime. But as far as working for them, JetBlue is one. It's a really nice. It would be, a nice company to work for. Just doing a little contouring here. So looks like my makeup is gonna take longer than how long it takes to talk about being a flight attendant. And that's okay. All right, so what is it like being a flight attendant? Honestly, it depends on what's going on. So right now, because we are, still in a pandemic and people are having to wear masks, to help, stop the spread, we are experiencing some challenging behaviors that really is stressing people out right now. But part of being a flight attendant is being able to handle these situations that are not typical, typical of what's going on. But it is very challenging right now. But typically, this is not the case. We don't typically have to handle, things like, people wearing masks and things like that. You know that. So what is it like in a normal environment? I'll have to say this. You'll have the time of your life. In a normal environment, you get to see beautiful places, although that's the same environment now. We still get to see nice places, of course. You get to, travel, fly, work with your friends. If you're, you get to meet great friends. You get to stay in really great hotels. And if you work with a larger carrier, you actually get to have a really nice income. So who doesn't want that? Now, we do get paid differently than most jobs. So for us, yeah, we do. It is hourly, but it's different from like a regular job where when you're on the job, you're on the clock. With us, there's two ways that we get paid depending on what carrier you're with. You're either getting paid what's called block in, block out hours, meaning you get paid when the door shuts, and then you stop getting paid when the door opens. So when the door is open, you're not getting paid. So which means that when we're boarding a plane, we're not getting paid for that. When we're deplaning, we're not getting paid for that either. So that's just something to be aware of. And there's another way that some companies may pay you, which is by the miles. So I don't want to confuse you. So just for the sake of argument and for what is industry standard, we'll just say block in, block out, meaning when the door closes, the clock starts, and when the door opens, the clock stops. Now it's all built into your trip, so you don't have to keep track of all that for the most part, unless things become a little bit irregular, and that's something you'll learn when you become a flight attendant. All right. So now what am I looking for? We're gonna do this right here. See what this does. There we go. Help me out a little bit. Yep. Can anybody become a flight attendant? Well, that's kind of a loaded question, but the easiest answer is yes. But just remember earlier I talked about, things like the felony part and all that. You do have to have at least a high school diploma. So that's a nice thing. Many of us have college degrees, but it's not necessary. So that's nice. You want something about yourself to be interesting. So what am I looking for here? I'm looking for one of my brushes. Where'd it go? So having hobbies or things that you enjoy doing does, something that just helps you stand out above the crowd is helpful. because here's some numbers to think about. So to get hired into an airline, a lot of people don't know how lucrative working for an airline can be. But for the people who know, they really, really know. And they really want to get into it. And so because of it, you have a lot of competition. So for instance, with the company that I am with, just to get into the company, I'm not even talking about to become a flight attendant or a specific job. I'm just talking about just getting into the company. You have about a, let me try something here. Huh? Is that better? A 2% chance of getting in. And that's just getting into the company. That does not include a specific job. So that's something to really consider, which is why you want to be interesting. If you don't have hobbies, this would be a good time to go and find you a hobby. It can be anything, really. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. Just, you know, you just want something to help you to stand out. What is another thing? Sorry, I'm going a little bit slow because I'm trying to find. Oh, I really like that. I really like this concealer that I just used. It's by Maybelline. It's an illuminating highlighter. I really like what that just did. Okay. So what's another thing to consider? You want to be interesting as far as hobbies goes, but it's also nice to have a little bit of have some type of personality. You know, know the company you're interviewing for. So, for instance, if you're interviewing for, let's say, Delta, you know the look of Delta. They look glamorous. They're, you know, everybody looks put together. They just look like they have it going on. That's how you want to look to go into Delta. You go to Delta's webpage. Look at their mission statement so that you can include all that in your interview. And you want to be in alignment with that. You want to be dressed to the nines. Now that's all airlines. But let's not get crazy with it. You know, when I say dress to the nines, I mean you want to look like a very sharp and tailored, clean, good hygiene, nice hair flight attendant. So maybe wear like a black or navy or it's neutral tone suit. You know, skirt or pants. If you're a male, of course you're gonna wear pants. But you want to look nice and tailored. If you're a man, you might want to have a pocket square just so that you can, you know, look very tailored and like you care about how you look, because, you know, although we're not just a pretty face, you do want to be a pretty face. It's the best way that's the best way I can say it. So look like that. Even on your phone, a lot of airlines, before you even get to the face-to-face, you're going to have like a video interview, especially if you're with the mainline carrier. Maybe not with the regional. I'm not sure how it is nowadays, but definitely with a big carrier. So you know, you want to at least whatever the camera can see, look like a nice looking flight attendant. If you're a woman, I advise you to wear earrings that are not gaudy, maybe a strand of pearls or a nice necklace. Have your hair done like how a flight attendant would have their hair, so like in a nice updo, or, you know, a nice bob. If your hair is long, I would advise an updo. If you are a man, like I said, wear a nice suit jacket and a shirt. Have your hair looking neat. I would not wear, although there are airlines that allow you to wear jewelry for the interview, maybe I wouldn't do that so much. just because, not for any other reason. And yeah, I think that about sums it up. Of course, when you get to the face-to-face, you definitely want to, have your, make sure your shoes look nice and clean. Get them shine. If you need to wear brand new shoes, do that. I'll be back. So, make sure your shoes look really nice and clean. Watch those collars. Make sure there's no like rings on the collar. You really are putting your best foot forward. Now, when you go for the interview, this is your time to let yourself shine. So yes, you're going to be talking about yourself. You're going to be selling yourself. You're going to do what maybe you don't do in normal situations, which is sitting there and talk about yourself. Well, depending on who you are. I don't, I'm a Libra, so sometimes we can be a little vain. Just saying. But there's going to be a time where you do want to shine. So don't be afraid to shine. I will also encourage you to look at like sample interviews online, just so you can get an idea of how it's done. So we got YouTube and all of that. Just go on that and just get an idea, so that you're not, especially if you've never been on an interview before. If you're 20, about to be 21, you can apply for a flight attendant position. But even if you're not quite 21, you can apply for other positions in the airline, which people do just to get their feet in the door. And getting a foot in the door is always a good thing. It also starts you out on working on like your vacation time, because your vacation time is based not on the department that you're in, but your time at the company. So you want to start getting some of that in there too. Also your 401k. Make sure you get in at least the maximum amount that your company matches for the 401k. Me personally, I would say go at least 10%, even if the company matches only 6%. I personally would say go at least 10%, and make it a goal. Take that very seriously, because we're talking about your future here. And that saying, but I need my money now. Well, now might just be 20 years from now. You're going to need your money in 20 years. That's the now. So think about that. Don't think like your average Joe who's just a instant gratification now person. Think like a wise person, even if you're only 20 years old. Okay, so we got that. So now, what palette do I want to use? Yeah, I got a bunch of palettes here. And what do I want to go with? I'll be right back. Okay, so I found this that I'm gonna try. If it don't work out, I'll just start all over. Okay, I'm gonna go with a blue look because I have this. And I think it's really pretty. So we're gonna see what happens. So let's go with this. Okay. Oh, it looks like I ran out of stuff to talk about as far as being a flight attendant. The main thing I can tell you is I started in my 30s. Yeah, it's looking good. And it's something that I wish I have known about in my 20s, because would be so much better off. However, woulda, shoulda, coulda. And so everything is in timing, and I believe that I am in the flow as all of you are. So I started when it was my time. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I am kind of liking this blue. I haven't done it before. I'm not a professional makeup artist. I just watch a bunch of tutorials. Now, I'm gonna make a tutorial on how I can get ready fast because let's face it, sometimes we don't get enough sleep. Sometimes our overnights are short and we don't feel like doing everything that I'm doing right now. This is the extra way of putting on makeup when you just had 5 hours of sleep. I'm not saying the overnight was 5 hours. I'm just saying that's all the sleep you had. Sometimes we don't get enough sleep. You try to darken this a little bit, see what happens. Put a little bit darker. And, ooh, I like that. It's turned out nice. So that's what I can talk about. So when your day goes as planned, when you're a flight attendant, everything's nice, everything's going great, there's no delays, customers are beautiful, your crew is, fun and nice and easy, and, you happen to have great pilots, which sometimes it's not the case. But when it all comes together, let me see, is the light not? Try to do this light a little bit better. No. Okay, that's as good as we're gonna get right now, and that's fine. This is my first time doing all this, so usually I just hold up my iPhone and call it a day. This time I thought, you know what, let me get a light and let me get a tripod and let me try to do something with my life. And it's okay. I need something. Alright. Let me use a different color here. Just up here. What am I going to use? Let's see. Let me try this. This one never fails me. It keeps breaking, but it doesn't fail me, so let me just go ahead and use it. Just put it up here, see what happens. If I mess up, but it's okay, I'll just start all over again. It's just makeup. Coming out okay? I don't think it is. What do you think? Something ain't right. Let me try this again. Something don't look even. Try this right here. Kind of coming out okay. Let me see here. Have to blend it in a little bit. Yeah, how's that looking? Does it look a little bit more blended? See? Tell you what, I never liked, I'll take it back. Makeup never been so easy for me until I started using the base. That base that I use right after the primer, because makeup seems to stick to it very, very nicely. There we go. Okay, we're getting there. it. I'll have to fix it though. That's okay. It's easy to do. Now I'm going to use my liquid. Now it's my first time. I love using liquids, but it's my first time using this color. And I'm going to use the blue. Right here. It's by E.L.F. Oh, I love E.L.F. Okay, this is my first time using this one, so here we go. Oh yeah. Oh, it's very, very pigmented. Very, very, very pigmented. Ooh, now that looks nice. I like the color. Might have to mix it with a little lighter color though, so it's not so dark. Or maybe because I'm already dark, sometimes brighter colors look a little nicer on me. This one almost looks purple. It's not, it's blue. Ooh, I look like I have a black eye. Try this side. Okay. Yeah, for me to do my face up like this, I need an hour and a half to get ready. And so, as a flight attendant, that ain't gonna work out. Ooh. I actually kind of like that. I'm gonna do something crease though. I think I have some gold. And I do. It's also by E.L.F. So let me do this. Let me sort of do an eraser. There we go. Do it on the other side. You know, if I can do this makeup, anybody can. Although, you might be looking going, but Alisani, you can't do it either. You look a mess. Well, I guess that's just your opinion. I actually like how it's turning out, so I'm just gonna go with it, see what happens. Okay, get this gold in there. Oh yeah, I like that. How's it looking? See here. The gold gives it some sparkle too. I love me some sparkle. So it looks like two tones up. Don't worry, I'm gonna blend it in. Make it look a little bit more blended. Okay, got that. Blend it a little bit more. Yeah, okay. So now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back to my powder. I got my, let's see, where's my brushes? I got this brush. I'm just gonna blend it a little bit so I'm not looking like crazy. Okay. There we go. Okay. Can you see me? Okay, that looks pretty blended. Okay, just gonna add a little bit more of this, just so it can stand out a little bit more. This is the blue. Actually, I kind of wing it out a little bit. There you go, it's kind of winged out. Okay. Ooh, okay. We're working this, we're getting it. Okay. There you go. Go. See here. Did I do this right? Okay. Nice thing about makeup is you can fix the fix. So, this is, let me make it a little pointy here. Okay, I can always fix it. Some concealer. So don't worry about it. It ain't too big of a deal. It's just makeup. Okay, I am gonna have to fix it a little bit more because it's looking kind of crazy. Okay. Don't worry. We gonna fix this. Don't worry. Don't be alarmed. I don't think. Okay, it's coming. Jesus. Okay. There we go. Blend it out. Blend it out. Blend it out. Okay. One second. Okay. I have to go clean my brush. Okay, y'all. I really like how this looks. Let me just clean my brush and sort of fix this right there. So, right there, just so it's like a clean line. Okay, that worked. Now, let me, actually, where's my fan brush at? Nah, it's okay, I can make it work with this. Okay. Trying to get rid of the mistakes here. There we go. Okay. Okay. Y'all, by the time I get done with this, I'm gonna have like layer upon layer. Okay. I think we got that, okay? Now, I'm gonna put on my bronzer. Here, I just have to get the brush. Y'all, my gums are killing me right now. Okay. Now, do this bronzer. Alright. Yeah, I really like how this is turning out. I'm like sort of making it up as I go along, but I'm gonna add a little bit more gold. Just right there. There we go. Like that. That looks pretty. Yeah, I love the E.L.F. products because they're cheap, really cheap, but they really get the job done, in my opinion. Mama likes to save money. Now I'll put some blush on. Put it right there. Yep. Kind of also helps to work like a highlighter, this brush. Okay, I didn't do my eyebrows. I gotta do them. So I got this new, I'm gonna try this new product right here. Okay. Usually I do a different product. I'm gonna try this. See how much, y'all, I love the way these eyes turn out. I wish the lighting was a little bit better right now, like one of those ring lights, but this is the best I have. I mean, I could try to, oh, that's wrong. Yeah, that's the best I have. I'll work on it, but it's better than nothing. Because if I had a good light, you would see just how pretty this was. How pretty this blue is. I have no, you know, this is like, you remember in the 80s, if you were alive back in the 80s, how, you know, we used to like the purples and the blues. This is like the 80s, but a little bit more modern. Oh, I think I got the wrong color. This color does not look dark enough. But we'll just see what happens. Thought I got a dark enough color, but how's that looking? No, it's a little light. But you know what? I think it'll be okay. Just gonna make it work. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. It's just gonna work. Yeah, it's fine. You know, I don't mind it not being so dark. Sometimes when it's too dark, in my opinion, kind of makes you look older than what you are. And Lord knows I don't want that. How's it look? Let's see, let me get closer. It's not even. See here. Yeah. This is good enough. Yeah, this is good enough. This is the best we can do. Yeah, I probably should have gone a little darker, but we're good. It's all good. Just gotta improvise. Okay. Lashes. Okay, so I wear the magnetic lashes, and to me, it's just easy for me. I was using the permanent semi-permanent glue, but my let me see if I can find a little hand mirror here. I was using the semi-permanent glue where I could wear them for 2 weeks at a time, but it was taking my lashes off. Okay, here's a little mirror I can use. And I was actually doing that for 2 years. Well, actually, probably more really. And then I discovered magnetic lashes, but it's not the magnetic where it's 2 lashes sandwiched with each other. It's the magnetic where the eyeliner is magnetic. Now, if you don't like to wear black eyeliner, I think they have it in brown and also in clear if you don't like to wear eyeliner at all. But I like eyeliner, so I'm just gonna do this. So what I try to do is I try to get it on both my lashes and my eyelid. And I do two coats because one coat wasn't working for me. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the brand that I'm using. Maybe there's other brands where one coat works, but I actually like the brand I'm using. I just have to do 2 coats, that's all. But it doesn't pull out my lashes. And I do put it on my lashes. So when it dries like rubber. Like rubbery. I'm having a hard time doing this, so I'm gonna stop and come back. Okay, so I got the eyeliner on. So now I'm just waiting for it to dry a little bit so that I can put the lashes on. So let's see here. If it's not all the way dry, it's okay, but what's gonna happen is when you take it off, you're just gonna have a layer of rubbery eyeliner come off with the lashes, which once again, no big deal. Just make sure you clean them good because the lashes, when you go to reuse them, they need to be completely clean so they can stick. So just make sure you do that. So I'm just gonna give these another few seconds. Meanwhile, while I'm letting them dry, let me try some lipstick. All right, so it's actually been a little bit more time than I thought, so I'm gonna go ahead and just put my lashes on, and then I'll put on my lipstick. So just find a little mirror here. Okay, here we go. So it's easy enough for a flare, isn't it? Not to insult flight attendants. Wait, did I do that right? Okay. Here we go. Let me just. This is my regular everyday lash that. I'm trying to find my thing. How did I do it? Well, I'll just do it with my fingers. It's not on right. There you go. Come on. Sometimes. Okay, I think I got it. Get it? All right. There. All right. We're on. So, yeah, you don't want it to dry all the way. Sometimes that second layer, when it dries all the way, you want it a little bit kind of wet. Let's put the other one on so that you can know it's like, I don't know, I guess active is the best way I can say it. But it should be fine. Let's see, I gotta do this one right. When you get yeah, I'm trying to find some tweezers. Oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for. I like these better than regular tweezers because you don't feel like you're gonna poke your eye out. Definitely don't want to do that. Oh, I don't like how I did this one. This one is too far in, but I think I can make it work. A little too far in, but I'm not gonna start all over. And when you get the hair, you know, when you get everything down, it just all sort of comes together anyhow. And it is a little bit in, a little too much, but whatever. It is what it is. Okay, this one over here is how I like it. I don't know what I do with this one. All right. It's fine. It'll come together. So now for the lips, I'm gonna do not necessarily a red lip. I love me a red lip, but my lips are dry. I don't know. A little bit different. I'm not sure how it's gonna come out because I haven't done it before, but we'll see. Okay. Now it looks like I'm doing red. This I just get from the beauty supply store. It's cheap. It's matte, but I just like it as it's like a base. I put some Vaseline on my lips, but they're still dry. Oh well. Okay, see, I don't necessarily want red with blue. That look like look kind of clownish, so let me try this. I have not worn this yet, but let me see how it looks. Oh Lord, this is not this is dark. Oh, this is so dry. I'm gonna have to sleep with Alisani tonight. Ugh. I have to tell you, this looks better in person. This really does look better in person than it does on camera. Oh, Jesus. I'm gonna let this dry and then I'm gonna see where I'm gonna go from there. I can't smile because my teeth are in pain. Yeah, my teeth are in a lot of pain. I had gum surgery today. So the Novocaine or whatever it is starting to wear off. Actually, Jesus. I swear it looks better in person. Let me see, where's my ring light at? Let me see if that'll help. Okay. Okay, we got. No, that warmed it up, but let's see here. Yeah, it's just, the light's just not right. So I'm gonna have to get a better light. Let me see here. But I do like this blue, so with this darker lip over the red that I typically wear. I don't know what I can do to make this look better. Except for say, I promise y'all in real life, it looks much better. I'll take some photos and I'll include them and you'll see. Okay, thank you, little ring light. You served your purpose. Kind of. Okay. Put some jewelry on. Do my hair. Then I'll come back with the finished product. All right. Well, so I'm back and it's the finished product and lights. Like, I got lipstick on my teeth. Y'all. Okay. That wasn't part of the plan. But this is the finished look. Sorry, I can't smell good because my mouth is all swollen. Love you guys.